everybody. It's Dr. Devin.
And Dr. Joey.
Back again. We're going to pick up right where we left off. And it was with a favorite quote of ours that we've just kismetly, I guess, made a way of life for our marriage and our family. If you want it,
go get it.
If you want it,
go get it.
And we've had a lot of fun with that. And so today we want to talk about what that looks like in real life when it comes to goal setting and execution. So we shared last time we have 5 kids, we have multiple businesses, we've got big dreams, right? So how do you make dreams a reality, Dr. Joe?
Well, you want to meet with your wife monthly, at least monthly, to go over your goals. And if you don't go over your goals monthly, then it can cause some
tension,
discord.
So. Tension and discord. Those aren't good things. That's the opposite of harmony. And harmony is what we're after, right? And so we're both a little ambitious. I would say both historically maybe a little too alpha. So one of the ways that we get in a rhythm together is to set that monthly meeting. So we'll back it up just a little bit. You as an individual, what do you do when it comes to goal setting for you as a person, and you and your business, and you and your dreams?
Well, I make sure and write them down. I don't know what book it was that said, all these guys graduated from Harvard, and 98 out of the 100 guys that graduated, 98% did not write down their goals, and 2% did. The 2% that wrote down their goals were worth more than the 98% combined. So I heard that and went, okay, it must be pretty important to put it on paper. And then the other thing that is very important, I think I talked about last time, was a date on it. Saying you want to have X but not putting a date on it leaves this open-ended thing that can just go on and on and on. So
write it down.
Put a
date on it. How often do you look at it, or how often do you write it down, and how often do you look at it?
I try daily, but it's maybe 3 to 4 times a week. I'm actually rewriting my goals, and you
just keep it on like a little index card, right?
Yeah.
Or piece of paper.
Yeah, piece of paper, whatever. And sometimes I'll look back at the day before, the few days before, and kind of just rewrite my goals.
Mainly just the action step of write it down.
That's right.
So write it down. I would say for me, over the years, my biggest motivation, because motivation I think is the key for me, is the dream time. And so I love looking at pictures, and I like looking to my heroes, because we tend to create our future from our past experience. And so I like to see what people who are hustling a little bit harder than me, or that are really like kicking ass and doing things that are bigger than big. That's probably one of the main statements that's pushed me the most professionally, as Dr. Steve Hayes said, to dream the dreams that take your breath away. And so I like to really stretch when it comes to goals. I don't like to, there's a difference between your goal setting and your to-do list. So you gotta I want the big things that are gonna make me hustle and stretch, and I need to work better on writing them down, because I really like the dreaming part. Now us together, because it is hard, we're both ambitious, we're both go-getters, but we gotta get on the same grid, right? We gotta get in a rhythm together, and we actually just got done doing this, so we figured we'd share it with all of you. And we made a big poster board from Walmart, and we just kind of split it up. You could do it however you wanted.
I think we need to hold it back here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks. Thank you, Vanna White, for the instruction of where and how. But there's no, we picked a really simple structure and made a big poster board that we're going to hang up in our bathroom. Try to do that. He says, meeting monthly, at least once a quarter. You've got to take that time to date each other and go, okay, this is what I want. What do you want? Now, what do we want? How do we make it make sense? And the categories that we have on our piece of paper at the very top, we just wrote down 3 staple categories, 3 core values that are most important to us for our family. And what that looked like for this particular final quarter, 4th quarter of 2020, was wild and free adventure. It was
legacy,
family legacy, and it was passion and power. So living on purpose. So we put those 3 staple concepts, And then when it comes to, the way that we interact with each other and our family day to day, that becomes our family's anchor. So across the top, we did our core values. You can make that as simple, or we made it a little wordy, I guess, but you can make it as simple or flowy as you want. And then the one underneath it says 3 months. So 90 days. For 90 days, what could we get done? I mean, if we have that consistent action and we have that growth mindset where we really want to stretch and push ourselves and each other, what can we get done in 30 days? And so we wrote down a list of things. And then across the bottom, the three categories are 1 year, 5 year, and 30 years. Now, why would it be important to look out in those types of time ratios? What do you think it does for the mind when we sat down and we wrote out the 30 year? Because that was fun.
That was fun.
We'll be
It
67.
Well, then you can work it backwards. Then you know where you're going. Then you know how to break it down year by year to get to the 30 year or to get to the 5 year. So when you're at the 1 year, you can look, are we making steps towards where we're supposed to be at the 5 year? And are we getting there fast enough? And what can we do to slingshot that? On the 30 year, there was some funny stuff, which was I put down how many grandkids I wanted to have, which I wanted each one of my 5 kids to have 3 kids.
No pressure.
And out of those 3 kids, then, well, one could have 5, one could have 1 or 2,
Sure,
right?
sure. It evens out.
Right? So that'd be 15 grandkids, and I put down 5 girls and 10 boys.
You wanted a girl to boy ratio.
I wanted to write that down, so that makes the legacy, right?
The Verona legacy.
And then we put down how many grandkids that could be.
The he did.
So if there's 15,
I'm trying to survive the 5 we have, and this guy's writing down 15.
Well, I might be
like
in another country, but they're going to be having lots of kids, and so that could be, if each one of them had 3 kids, that would be
we got up to 45.
45 grandkids in a
Great
hurry,
grandkids.
or great grandkids, and that trickle down, just looking at the legacy that creates.
And in our minds, we're like 30 years from now, picturing our like 60-something-year-old self. And I said, okay, so that means I want to have 2 events every year for that entourage of Veranas, where once a year we have Verona Fest, where we all get together at home, and once a year we pick a cool place to go. And it's just cool to play out there in the future. And it takes away the stress of today, right?
Mm-hmm.
To just jump out 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now and go, where will we be? And just really dream that way. We both lost parents. My mom passed in her 50s. His dad passed in his 50s. And for me, it is very important to visualize myself healthy and vibrant and alive and living and loving in my 60s, 70s, 80s, because I want to get there. That feels really important, to goal set healthy living well into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think we learned that the hard way,
Yep.
both of us. And so we take those tough lessons and apply them. So that's the goal setting side. But Dr. Joe, the real magic, right? Because anybody can have ideas and dreams. And I think a lot of people out there have high aspirations. How do you execute? What if you were going to give somebody some secret sauce, some X factor of how you take idea into execution? What is it?
Massive action.
Massive action. What's that mean?
It means whatever it takes. It means getting the job done. It means burn the boats.
For those people out there who have not heard burn the boats, where'd you hear that? And
I don't know. It's lots of people talk about. Lots of people talk about. Lots of movies
reference it. Tony Robbins.
But yeah, when you're willing to show up and burn your boats, and you're either die taking the village or die in battle, or come out victorious, you're not going back home. You're not going back.
Victory
you're not going back
only
the other
option.
way. Right.
Yeah. So it's a mental state. I also love what you were saying when we were doing this. That other quote about most people overestimating and underestimating.
Yeah, they underestimate what they can do in a year, and overestimate
what they can.
No, overestimate what you can do in a year, and underestimate what you can do in 10 years. So a lot of people, like you put your goals down, and you're wildly overshooting maybe what your 3-month or 6-month potential is.
You overestimate what you can get done in a day. You know how many moms, I'm calling you out right now with this one, and this is where like the mommy guilt and failure complex comes from, is because we make a to-do list that would take an average human 3 weeks to do, and then when we don't get it done in a day, we're failure. even though we're superhuman in all the things. I mean, I think moms are superhuman, but we're like accomplishing massive things and raising humans and growing humans inside our body. And yet, this like overestimating what is physically doable in time and space in a day or a week. And so, really going back to what he said about goal setting and being consistent in it is huge.
Yeah, it's celebrating your wins.
That's,
Like a lot
yeah,
of people don't
that's huge.
celebrate their wins, or you don't sit down to look at what actually has been happening over a.
Yeah. And execution, I would say for me, if I'm sharing anything that's worked well for me going through the years of like being a single mom, putting myself through like college and grad school or opening businesses or anything, it is 100% getting in the present moment and being all there and making it happen and not like not getting ahead of it, doing whatever is needed in that moment. So it's like making out the list and then just crossing it out. That to-do list makes me like feel so victorious because it's like, what can I do right now to accomplish that thing, and being wildly present in the now and not getting stuck in what didn't get done yesterday and not living in tomorrow, because there's no joy that you can't live in tomorrow. So being in the now. And then us as a couple, in the execution, how do we teach that to our kids? What do you see in the way that we live life that we take the goal setting and execution to kids?
I mean, having them write down their goals would
Hmm.
be a huge one.
And vision boards. They we
Hmm.
they love getting to do vision boards. If you've ever made a list for Santa Claus, that's the same thing as a vision board, but make it a goal setting action. Actually, we just sat down with our oldest son and I made a list of books: Think and Grow Rich, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, 5 a.m. Club, How
How
to
to
Win
win
Friends
friends, yeah.
and Influence People, Relentless,
Hmm.
because he's going through an injury right now. And so he's reading the book Relentless. And, we're going to pay him to read the book and put that knowledge inside of him that no one can ever take from him. And so, taking that goal setting, always be hungry, always get after it, execute mentality to your kids as early as you can.
Hmm.
Imagine what that world would look like.
It'd be pretty powerful.
Oh, well, we always love getting to be here with all of you, and we hope that it's helpful. I I think it feels so important to talk about goal setting and dreaming in the fourth quarter of 2020, because we've gotten so caught in what's in the chaos and tornado of right now. Let's pick our eyes up. Let's look forward to the future. Let's make it happen. So,
Yeah, and one more thing.
yeah.
She's trying to close this out, but consistent
Hmm.
action. Uh, Another thing that I was listening to said that if you go out and you take an axe and you hit a tree 5 times every day, what's going to eventually happen?
Tree's gonna come
The
down.
tree's going to come down. The job's going to get done of
Hmm.
cutting down the tree, right? It doesn't matter if it's a huge cypress or a little tiny tree in your backyard that you're needing to cut down, and it can seem like a massive task on some of your goals on how
Hmm.
far out that is. But if every day you're taking 5 hits at that tree
Hmm.
towards the action, towards making something happen, that's when you look back a year or 5 years later and you go, oh my gosh, what have we accomplished? Because you're just consistently, relentlessly every day doing your 5 things that you can do, action steps towards your goal. So,
Yeah, and your health is your wealth. So take care of yourself in the process, because make sure that your physical health is on your goal board.
mhm,
Because without your health, you can't do any of it.
that's right.
But we're always grateful for your time. And if you found this impactful whatsoever, please share something in the comments or gift it to a friend. And if you want to hear anything or you have any questions, we're wide open. This is our little playground where we get to take things we've learned from our teachers and mentors and we get to toss it out into the universe for somebody else to play with. So we love you, and you'll be seeing more of us. We'll catch you next time. And if you want it,
Go get it.